they can have a bit of a transition here and fix some things going into this map, but I think it's still going to be pretty tough. If you had to say, Sideshow, a score line for this one, what would you say?
I think this map slightly favors Tavo tëvas more than a previous map. So I'm going to go with still the win limit, but they're going to pick up 2 rounds. It's going to be 7-2. We're going to see a fast-paced Snakewater, I reckon, simply because Mike+5 are not going to give the enemy team any respect, but I think that's also going to lead to them making a few mistakes and giving a round or 2. It could be more like 6-1. I'll go with 6-1, actually.
6-1. All right, yeah, I can see that. That's I'm good with that. So, we'll see. Hopefully, that's what I was calling last game, and Tavo tëvas let me down a little bit. So hopefully they can get a little something here. But I still think, as we were saying, Mike+5 is just a little bit too strong here, especially with Mike there on demos, just a beast.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and with Nuki and Rock as well on the scouts, they are an incredible combination. The pocketing scouts and the demo man causing absolute chaos. But one thing that's possibly not an advantage, but certainly plays slightly into Tavo tëvas' hands, is that their soldiers are really the crux of their team, and they're going to be big on this mid-fight, I think. If they can get their soldier bombs synced up well, Luxy does have pretty good DM and will certainly do well in a bomb, and Kufki, we've been watching him throughout this morning, really, and I've been impressed every time I've seen him with his bombs on Viaduct, and we also saw him on Gullywash, and he was just a very good overall player at getting the target that he's after. We also saw him on Badlands. He was pretty much the only person doing anything on mids, and he was fairly consistently picking Admirable.
Yeah, which is really key for them. They're going to have to keep him shut down, and Fear's just got to make sure that he can keep his Uber charge on these fights and stuff and stay alive as best as possible. It's pretty hard sometimes with just how much this map favors that soldier aggression over the top. It's sometimes kind of tough to see, as you were saying. The visibility sometimes is a bit limited throughout these mids, so it's hard to see soldiers bombing as well as scouts kind of working their way out of kitchen and working their way behind the little house there. It's just a lot of little areas for people to get through, but I think if they keep it locked down, they might be looking a little bit better than they did on Badlands, Tavo tëvas, but still going to be pretty tough. Just got to get those soldiers in there.
They definitely do. I'd just like to update the stream as well. I did say that whilst this game was going on, there was another game happening as well. That was in the losers bracket, the lower bracket, and that was between Garaz, the team with some players with no competitive TF2 experience, and a soldier called Happy Crow, who is well known in the Lithuanian community for being a fairly decent soldier from a while back. And they were playing against Truls Gaming. Now, if you haven't managed to take a look at the brackets whilst this game has been going on, you might be a little shocked. But Truls Gaming, featuring such well-known players as Dr. Leon, Toba, they also have Ace on Medic, and they have been knocked out of the competition at the very first hurdle. They got knocked down by Tavo tëvas, who we're spectating now as they go up against Mike+5, and then they've been knocked out of the lower bracket 7-3 on Granary by Garaz. So Garaz, an absolute underdog story there, and I believe we're attempting to get the STVs to cast it as well, because apparently it was a very good game.
Yeah, that's awesome that they could do that, especially on LAN too, as we were saying before. It's just, that's really the proving grounds for, how good of a player and, maybe even a team that you are. Some of these guys kind of coming together, just making some mixed teams and stuff. But it's still good to see those upset stories. You can't beat one of those underdog scenarios. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think we have 6 players in each team, so we are going to be going live fairly soon, I would imagine, to our second map of this fixture, this round 2 fixture, Snakewater and Badlands. If Mike+5 do manage to take this map, which it's fairly likely they will, they'll progress to the upper bracket semi-finals, where they will meet the winner of ISF against 403, which we will also be bringing to you, because that is going to be a cracking game. And if In that situation as well, Tavo will be going down to face Krasava, who managed to beat Fat Kid Super Team 7-2 and have knocked them out of the competition as well. So Trulls Gaming and Fat Kid Super Team, both the European mixed teams that were slightly lower level than Mike+5, getting knocked out here by the home teams, the teams full of Lithuanian talent. So big ups to the Lithuanian teams. We have gone live as well, Gecks, with our second map, CP Snakewater, who you're watching on middle.
As always, I think I'm gonna take a bit of a look at Mike, at least for the time being, but let's go see these soldiers as they get in. They got Avoka and Croce both up on that top left. Mike is very hurt right now. He was able to get a pipe into Luxy, but the soldier's very aggressive right now. That was Avoka on top, getting demolished by DL with the sticks there, but DL is very hurt right now as he's all the way back. It looks like each team has lost a player, but they are very hurt. Oh goodness, the crits, as you said, does come off. He is able to get Rocky, still searching for more with this. Soldier bombing back in, and he's going to take down DL, though not able to do all that much with it. As you said, that crits aggressive play came out right there, but they weren't able to do too much with it. It's time for them to leave, though, as their fear is starting to get out, which is good for him, but now that's going to be Admirable coming through, and oh goodness, Croce coming from behind and getting the flank to take them out, and that's pretty much just going to be a wipe right there. They're going to be able to get the midpoint in onto second, and Admirable has a pretty 100% Uber charge to push last with.
Yeah, he's going to be wanting to push last with that Uber, but he also doesn't want to be put in a position where the Uber might be used in a bad position. Oh, they're going to be able to find the demo man on the bottom as well. DL overextending. So for all of my talk about Admirable not overextending, he's going to find a pick by doing just that. They're going to be getting onto Fear for some reason. They want to be focusing down the fragging classes, but Mike hitting a nice headshot there onto Kofki as well with his pipes. And the last one, a sniper is unable to stem the tide of Mike's teammates, and they are going to pick up that first round very quickly.
Yeah, I liked the Kritzkrieg play. It was, you know, it was a big aggressive play to come out with on that mid there. They just couldn't really do too much with it. We'll see if they're still following through with that onto this mid. Yes, they are. They are going to be up on that Kritzkrieg, so we'll see what they can do with it here moving into this mid. As we take a look, I'm going to be looking at these soldiers once again from Mike+5 here. It looks like Luxy's getting up on top, but he's going to get launched off of the pad there. And Evoke now getting on top with Nookie, and the scouts Rocky over there on that side is going to get a lot of damage out, and Mike's going to finish him off. So here they go once again. Tavo tëvas just getting completely out-aggressed here on this mid. They are going to get the mid, it looks like. Oh, and here comes the crits out of Kitchen. They're not going to be able to get much with it. They were able to get themselves out there. Very good play. Smart heads up for them, ready for the Kritzkrieg once again. They are down 3 players at the moment, but Admirable snuck out of there with that full Uber, so they're at least going to have that to hold this second point with and possibly push out once they get these spawns.
Yeah, that was a poor Kritzkrieg use. They were popping it blind there around that corner, and that's never a good thing to do with your Kritzkrieg. So they've just gifted Admirable 100% advantage that he's going to be moving across grass with. He's attached to his pocket, and they're just trying to find the best place to push into the combo of Fear and Luxy and DL. But they can't quite find them. They're going to move across grass though, and the Uber charge does come out. Fear dropping the first frag is the exact one that they want, just to deny that Kritzkrieg coming out. And all the position now in favor of Mike. Mike is going to land the kill onto the opposing demo man. There is a player behind. Luxy has dragged 3 players back, but with Clarks and Frenzy both on half health and getting shoved back out of the fray by Mike, there's not much that they can do to help him.
And there they go, picking up that midpoint there. I feel as though they should have been ready for that Uber charge coming through, and it looks like they're taking a lot of damage. Oh goodness, the stick from Mike coming through and taking down Fear. They're very well placed, and that is not going to put them in a good position right now. They should have had themselves out of the fight and back to last if they just kind of got caught out a little bit too far in the mid and couldn't get back in time. So right now Admirable's going to be up on this Uber very shortly, but they're still getting aggressive with the 2-player advantage that they have as Evoke is in. Rocky was able to get one. Evoke does take down Kufki there towards the point, so they're just putting the pressure on over it last year. Now they're finally getting on the point. Nothing they can do about it. And the bottle kill from Mike on the Fear, and that is going to be another round there over to Mike+5. It's going to be 2-0.
2-0 already in quick succession, and Fear has moved off the Kritzkrieg and back onto Medigun, so he's not quite feeling that crits play. He's just going to put the faith in his soldiers. Luxy and Kufki are at the top of the scoreboards, and I'm going to be watching them on this mid just to see what they can pull out the bag. Mike's going to get a lot of damage onto DL though before anybody's even arrived. Yeah, we're watching Kufki as he jumps around the top-hand side. He's going to be meeting Croce. He's launched really high in the air and finished off by the scouts. And Luxie now sitting really passive again. They're doing the same kind of mid where they sit really passive, but this time they do not have a Kritzkrieg up their sleeves. Mike's going to do so much damage because everybody from Tavo tëvas was clumped up. And now just going to be powering through. They are going to have their Uber to defend here, unless Fear does something drastic. No, they are going to have their Uber, but they don't have a Demo Man, so I don't think they're going to commit to the second point. They're just going to save it for last. But now, finally, we are going to see an Uber v Uber on last instead of an Uber advantage push coming out from Mike+5.
We'll see what Tavo tëvas can do now with this Uber, as they do have it to hold. It's still going to be a tall order going up against Mike+5, and Mike already getting a lot of damage out onto the soldiers, denying Kufki constantly, and it looks like Evoke's going to come in here for a big bomb over on the side, gets a rocket in to Fear, but he is going to go down. Oh goodness, he did force that Uber out of Fear as Croce came back in. He did get that Uber pop out of him, and Admirable still has that full Uber to push back in with, and they've worked themselves out. Very good strategy for them. They're sitting out on second right now. They're trying to give them a little bit of a room, possibly bait them out a bit, and they do have this full Uber. I'm not sure. I guess they're waiting for Croce right now to come back for them to go ahead and make this push, as they were waiting actually for Evoke and Croce, as they are now here. Fear sitting at only about a 50% Uber, and it looks like a couple players from Mike+5 getting aggressive back into this lobby here. It's the scouts working their lane, and now looks like the rest of the team is going to be here. Mike+5 just about to pop out of this left side as they come through here. Oh no, the drop coming in from Frenzy onto Admirable, and the body shot, and that is huge for Tavo tëvas right now, but they are getting demolished on the second point right now. They can't hold it. They are going to get that last cap once again. It's going to be 3-0, as you would say, my friend. But that was a big drop there that they had. Frenzy got, but just couldn't really do too much with it to hold last.
It looked like such a promising situation. We had a famed Admirable drop, but the DM power from Mike+5 just far too strong for Tavo tëvas, and they absolutely destroyed them, even with the heal advantage and almost with an Uber. So huge plays there from Mike+5 with their raw DM talent. Kufki again trying to go aggressive at mid, but it's going to be the double soldier bomb from Mike+5 that really does the damage this time, although they do get mopped up fairly well, so it's a 4v4 situation here. The advantage being in favor at the moment, though, of Mike+5, as Mike hits a nice rocket. The bomb in from DL. Oh, but a great work pocket scouting there from Nuki. I feel like this is a big difference between the teams, is that the scouts, especially Nuki actually, from Mike+5, are really able to pocket their medic very well. And Fear just doesn't have that same kind of protection from his scouts. His scouts are more focused on going forward, making frags, holding flank areas, and they're not really working to deny people and get those easy frags on people who are aggressing his medic.
Yeah, definitely. At least Fear, though, did keep himself alive in that mid, which was good. So now they do have an Uber once again to hold last with. They just need to be careful not to get forced again as quickly as they did last time. And Fear is playing over by that left side shutter to avoid that. So he's going to be sitting back there in a pretty safe spot for the bombs when they come in, if they do. But right now, just waiting for a pick on both sides. Frenzy very hurt right now. He did pick up the resupply there. So looks like Mike+5 slowly working their way, and Croce actually goes in for a bomb, and the pop has come off from Fear. I'm not sure if it seemed a bit questionable. He wasn't that low on the health, but the counter pop has come through here. Mike landing a big pipe there on the Kufki. He's gonna rock him, and now it's just a full-on massacre on last once again, and that's going to be another round there to Mike+5. That's 4-0.
Yeah, and the big problem there is that questionable pop by Fear. As you say, he was probably on 120 health, something like that, and just saw Croce coming in and pooped his little pants and could not keep his finger off the mouse 2 trigger and just popped it off and threw away the round there. So we are back on the 5th middle, 4-0 the scoreline with 21 minutes still remaining. Tons of time for people to come back into it. Both teams posturing around the point, playing pretty passive. The big flank coming in now from Croce as he jumped all the way around and does take down the medic. The demo man, sorry, but his partner in crime, Evoke, is going to take down the medic. And so a 3v3, but Admirable has got the heals. They've sacrificed a lot of people for that med pick, but it looks like Tavo tëvas are not going to punish them for it. They're not going to make an attempt onto Admirable, which you would normally see from a team as soon as their medic goes down.
Yeah, somebody needs to make the play onto him here. Once they get themselves into second, somebody needs to get out there. Probably the roamer. Somebody though needs to get out and get a force onto Admirable, because if they don't, then it's just going to be once again this just roll straight in through last, as we've seen here a couple times when they have that full Uber. Even in the Uber v Uber fights, they still get the better of them. So they really need to get the force onto Admirable here. And Kufki flying around there, he's going to fall to his death. He was in for a bomb, I guess, but he has gone down now, so they have Frenzy up on Sniper. If there was ever a time to get a drop onto Admirable, it would be right now, as he had done before, but they are going to go ahead and pop it from lower. No chance from them right there, taking down Fear, Kufki, and Lux as well, so that is just going to be in similar fashion to the other rounds. I don't think they can do too much there. That's going to be the cap and the game. 2 maps to none for Mike+5 right there. Taking Badlands and then Snakewater, both of them 5-0.
Very fast Snakewater as well. Our predictions completely rubbished again by Mike+5, determined to prove us wrong and set a very dominant record for going into the rest of this upper bracket. They do progress onto the upper bracket semi-finals, where they'll be facing the winner of ISF against 403, which, as I say, we're going to bring to you. And Tavo tëvas are going to go down and face Krasava in the lower bracket on Process. So we'll try and bring as many games as we can to you. Let's have a look at our oh, hello, 2 seconds. Oh goodness me, the game of ISF against 403 is about to start as well, so we'll have to jump into that. I don't know whether we have enough time to even check the logs, but it was Mike+5 who got that up. I will give you the information right now, Gecks, and we will have a look at what's happening over there. I'll give it to our streamer as well, and let's head on over there. Oh no, sorry, that's terrible. That's not the information. What on earth am I doing? It's going to be, apologies for this. We are just desperately trying to join this game before they start, because they are very delayed, so they don't want to be delayed any further by waiting around for us to be casting, so we're trying to fit to their schedule instead. So we are hopefully going to be bringing you ISF against the Enigma Zone Crew 403 edition. Yes, I'm in the game at the moment. Let me see, has it gone live? It has been a minute live. The score's still 0-0 as far as I can tell. No, actually, no, it's not live. They've just joined the server, or they've just changed map. We're all fine.